Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Welcome to another episode with us. Today we have a very esteemed scholar with us, a very knowledgeable person, and also the co-founder of the Second Chance Books. Today we have with us the esteemed Saed Ali Kulayni. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Rahman to Allah. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Allah, no complaints. No
Sheikh,
complaints.
tell us about yourself. What's your journey been to the Ahl al-Bayt alayhi salam? How you have, chosen this path towards becoming a scholar and your Hausa experience and.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Well, alhamdulillah, I come from a Sunni family. I'm originally Sunni. Yeah, I'm originally Sunni. And what happened was my older brother became Shia in the early 70s. And when I was about 16, 17 years old, he brought Shiism to me. What made me go out and study is that growing up, I didn't see anybody that looked like me. When I mean look like me, I don't mean look like me. Someone being a second generation or maybe even a first generation Muslim in America that were able to relate to, our problems and needs. Because, growing up here in America and growing up in a foreign country, a country that, you're normally not from, we have different ideologies than our parents and have different problems that what our parents have. So I always wanted to go out and study. And I remember, trying to get out and go study, and everybody would tell me, oh, we don't know how to get there. So I ended up moving to Atlanta, Georgia, and I met this Iraqi sheikh, and I asked him, I want to go study. So what he said was, well, I don't know nobody, but I will start a Hausa. So my initial studies for my Muqaddamah started in my town. So I studied there 4 to 5 years, and I learned my Muqaddamah, and then I went to Iran, came back, started teaching in the Hausa that I studied from, became resident alim of 2 different communities, lecturing and all the other things. And then later on, I decided to go back to study. Well, I went to Iraq to start studying in Najaf. After being in Najaf, I got invited to study at Ayatollah Muhammad Taqi Mudarsi's Hausa in Karbala, and that's where I've been ever since. So I've been there ever since. So I've been going back and forth to study in his Hausa for maybe like 5 years now.
Okay,
But
so how's your you had a one-on-one experience with Ayatollah Taqi al-Mudarrisi as well?
Yeah, I have a one-on-one experience with Muhammad. He made me his his wakil, right? So it's the scariest thing. I remember I'm going to class for Dar's college class, right? I like to sit in the back, so I'm going to the back. So he said, "No, come here, come to the front." I'm like, "Who, me?" He said, "Yes, come to the front." I'm from the front. I walk always to the front. So as I walk into the front, everybody's looking at me. So I'm a nervous wreck. So I'm watching everybody looking at me. I'm like, oh my gosh, all the eyes on me. He hold my hand. He said, yes, you are my wakil. You are my wakil. So I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. Should I kiss his hand? Should I kneel? Should I bow? Right? I'm so nervous. I don't know what to do. Right? And then I'm trying to go back to sit in the back. He said, no. You sit right here. I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? So yeah, I have alhamdulillah, a pretty good experience with relationship with the Marja Taqi Said Muhammad Taqi Madrasa, alhamdulillah, right? And also, not only do Second Chance Books, me and Sheikh Mateen also started a publishing house where we translate a lot of his books. I think we can translate maybe like over 30 of his books so far.
MashaAllah.
So alhamdulillah, it has to be over 30 books, because I know we have about 50 books that we translated in whole. But so I think we did about maybe 30 of his books, maybe more, honestly. But yeah. So
Yeah, because I've looked at some of his books, Ayatollah Taqi al-Mudarrisi. He has
yeah,
a number of books on all the, personalities of the Ashura in Karbala.
yeah, we
Yeah,
did
he
all
has
those
books
books.
on, yeah.
We did all those books, all the books that you find in English, except his Risala and his book on Hajj. We did all those in English, like his question and answer book. We did the ones on the family of Akhlul Bayt. We're working on the ones on the whole Masumeen right now. We're up to Imam Ali alayhi salam, because we started from Imam Mahdi and worked our way up. So we got Imam Ali alayhi salam. That's the next one that's coming out. It's already done. We just have to put it out We have to
Mashallah.
review it and put it out. So alhamdulillah, um, first question answer. We did a book on belief. We did a book on his Shah Rasala Hukuk, and oh man, we did quite a few books. I can't remember all of them, but yes, we still are planning on doing more books from the Marja Taqlid, Ayatollah Mudarsi as well, inshallah. If Allah give us the strength to be able to do it.
Okay, as you became a Shia, yeah.
Yeah.
So when you became a Shia, there's a point, and when someone becomes a Shia, they don't get all the knowledge. They don't suddenly have the love for the Ahlul Bayt. They need to study. They need to learn. They need to find some point to connect towards them.
This is a good
So
question.
yeah, when was that time for you when you felt the love towards the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam?
Now, let me explain something. This is a good question, right? Because when my brother started telling me about Ahlul Bayt, I started to do my research. And coming from a Sunni family, the first place you do your research is the Sahih Sitta, the 6 books of the Sunni.
Okay.
So the craziest thing is that as I started doing my research, I started finding a lot of Shia belief in their books.
Excellent.
I remember growing up, I used to always see, they always talk about the Quran and Sunnah. You see it on plaques, you see the Imam on the minbar talk about it, but no one tells me where this hadith is, right? So I remember finding this hadith in Sahih Muslim, right? And it didn't say Sunnah. It said household. And from then on, my research began. So I started finding, the hadith about, Black Thursday. I found a hadith that the prayers were changed. I found a hadith that the prayer was ended with the 3 takbirs. I found the hadith where, the combined of the prayer. I found a hadith where Aisha saw the event of the cloak. I found the hadith in which Umar gave bay'ah to Amir Mu'mineen alayhi salam. I started finding all these things. I found the hadith when he said there was 2 mutars during the time of the Rasulullah, and I forbade them. I found all these works in the books of the Sunni. So I'm like, wait a minute. If the ideology of the Shia in their books, it has to be something correct. So this was the thing that sealed the deal for me when I started finding all these proofs, because it's easy to find the proofs of Ahlul Bayt in the books of the Ahlul Bayt. But to find your proofs, the proofs of another school of thought in the books of another school of thought is amazing. Is amazing. So that was the thing that sealed the deal when I started finding all the doctrines of the Shia in the 6 books of the Sunnis. And from then on, it just was like sky's the limit after that,
Mashallah, Sheikh, that's a beautiful story out there. I want to know more about you yourself, because you mentioned that your brother,
yeah,
he became a Shia first, right?
Yeah.
So how did that happen? And then how did he approach you?
That's very interesting, because back when he was younger, he's deceased now, but back then, a lot of Iranian students was coming to America.
Okay.
Right? During the Iranian Revolution and stuff like that, a lot of them was coming to America, and they was giving dawah to indigenous people. And I remember my brother telling me, because I'm too young, he was my older brother. He was like 20 years older than me. He was my oldest brother.
Okay.
So he would tell me that they came to him and they asked him a simple question like, who know you more, your friends or your family? Simple question. He would say, my family. And then they would go on and start giving him the dawah about the ways of Ahlul Bayt. But then not only that, they also saw something that was going on with the Iranian Revolution that piqued their interest, because this was something they had never seen before. And it was like, what is this Shia thing? Who is these Shia? Because before that, you didn't hear about Shia in America. So I said, what is this Shia thing? So these things piqued their interest, and they brought them towards Shiism, because, like I always tell people, the ways of Ahlul Bayt became so natural for me to accept. It wasn't something that was difficult. It was something that was so natural, so easy. It was like almost like the saying in which my brother always tell me. He said the Shia come from the womb of their mother. It was like something that's natural. Like when a baby's born, they know to suckle the mother. Something that's natural that no one has to teach them. This was something that was just so easy, for me and stuff like that. So that was one of the things that he used to tell me, how he became Shia. And like I said, sky was the limit with that. And through research and study, it brought him closer and closer to Ahlul Bayt. He became Shia. He became Shia. And then in turn, he brought it to me, and I started doing my research. And once I started doing my research and find the ways of Ahlul Bayt and the other school, I had no choice but to accept. It was like the light was shined in my face, and I couldn't deny the light. I couldn't say, "Oh, that's not light." It's in my face. I can't avoid it. I have to accept that the light has shined in my face. And from there, here I am. So, alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah, you're so blessed because, converting from a Sunni family to a Shia family and then studying under the biggest of Ayatollah. So Ayatollah Taqi al-Madrasi, he's a big personality in the Shia community throughout the world. MashaAllah, that's a big blessing. Allah bless you. As we had a topic that for the year that the Imam of our time, the Marifath. So if you could tell us that in a simple definition, that if someone asked you that, what is the meaning of having Marifath of the Imam of your time, what would you say?
Definitely would say that, like anything, to be able to believe or have love for something, you have to know it. You have to know what it is. I cannot love something if I don't know what it is. It's impossible, because what brings love? Through knowing it. You fall in love with things once you know of it. When you know of that certain thing, the love begins to, build inside one's heart. This is why we are told that we must have recognition of the Imam. We must recognize the Imam. How do we recognize the Imam? We have to know who the Imam is. We have to know who he isn't. This is how we recognize the Imam, by knowing his characteristics, by learning what he will do and what he will not do. There's no other way. There's no other way. We have to learn and recognize the Imam. See, you can't say, "Oh, yes, there's an Imam." Okay, who is the Imam? Oh, I don't know. It just says an Imam. You have to know who the Imam is. Once you know who the Imam is and you start to delve into his life and see what Ahlul Bayt says about him, then you start to recognize who the Imam is. You have to give the recognition that there is going to be an Imam to come. If not, what happened? We are told if we don't recognize the Imam of our time, as though we die, as though Jahilil, those who are pre-ignorance. Because what happened is that we are ignorant to the fact that the Imam is going to come. We're ignorant to the fact that there is an Imam. We have to know who the Imam is. Only way we can do that is to study our Imam. Study the signs of the Imam. Study the miracles of our Imam. This is how we become close to our Imam. This is how we begin to love our Imam. We start to realize that Allah placed the Imam on this earth for us, as a savior to us, as a deliverance to us. The justice that Allah has placed on earth through the Imam is for us. But we can only know this if we learn who the Imam is through the recognition of the Imam and recognize the Imam.
I feel, mashallah, there's a misconception at times. The word Ma'rifat, people feel that Ma'rifat means that only acknowledging that there's an Imam and... No, I'm saying there's a misconception.
Yeah.
See, and then they don't understand that Ma'rifat means acknowledging the Imam, having love for the Imam, and then understanding the personality.
Yes.
Who he is, and as you just mentioned. And I feel there's this incident I would like to narrate over here. There's a person who comes to Ayatollah Bahjat.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is said by a lecturer, a very nice lecturer. I don't know if you've heard of him, Muhammad Habib Mukhtar Ali. That's his name.
Yeah, I think I learned him. Yes.
Yeah. So what he narrates is a person comes to Ayatollah Bahjat and he asks him, is it possible for a sinful believer to see the Imam of his time?
Yeah.
And then Ayatollah Bahjat replies that there's no big deal in seeing the Imam of your time. Even Shimra saw the Imam of his time. Yeah. But what was the difference? That he didn't have the Marifat. Yeah. And then he goes on the lecture. He said that who is Shimr? Shimr, so certain reports say that he was with Imam Ali alayhi salam in Siffin, and
Yeah.
in Karbala he's beheading Imam Hussein. So first of all, he lost the test of the nafs, and secondly, he didn't have the Marifath. He just had certain priorities. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He never had the love for the Imam.
Yeah. He knew who the Imam is. What we have to understand is that Shimmer was related to Benin. He was related to Federal Abbas. He knew who the Imam was. But it's almost like it's when you look at two things like hub, love, and muhibba, right? One is, oh yeah, I love you. But the other is that intense love I have for you. When you look at when you look at Marifath, right? That's that deeper knowing of something, the deeper understanding of something. It's not just the surface level, it's that you delve deep. It's like not you sitting on the water, but you diving in the water, you know? I'm not on a raft sitting on the water. No, I dove inside of the water. It's a big difference. And this is the thing about with a lot of us, we don't want to get deeper into understanding, our Imam. To knowing who that's Sheikh Mateen right now calling me. to knowing who our Imam is. I don't know what it is, it's just people, but we cannot love something without knowing the Imam. Well, Sheikh Mateen got bad. He have bad timing because I need to talk to him. He don't never answer. Give me a minute.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Hopefully you see that.
Yeah, okay, as you just mentioned, mashallah. No, another thing, how do we get close to the Imam for time? Many people have this thing that, we have not seen the Imam for time. We do not know about the Imam for time. We haven't seen him. We do not have much knowledge about him. So what are the ways we can get more closer to him? Any, du'as or any certain books you would like to tell us?
The thing is this, right? There's so many books on the Imam, especially in the English language. If you speak English, there's a lot of books about the Imam. Read about the Imam. Read about him. Read about him. The thing is that, do we really know that we didn't see the Imam? Because I remember a story one of my teachers told me, right? One of my teachers, it was a scholar of this time. I think it was Ayatollah or something, Marja. I remember my teacher telling me this. And he said that when it was during Matum, he didn't really he would just, do like this. Mm-hmm. Then all of a sudden, they said that the Sheikh just went in and he just started, he started going in, right? He started going in, right? So he said, oh, what's going on? Normally you just like this, but now you went in. He said, when I looked, I saw my Imam. He was doing it. So who am I not to do it? So my thing is that how we know we have not seen the Imam. But if we do not know the characteristics and we don't know how the Imam look, he could just be someone just passing us by. The only way we could recognize our Imam is for us to know who our Imam is. There's many instances they said that people recognize the Imam, that they seen the Imam. I heard stories. So this is the way to learn to read about our Imam.
I also heard one thing, that before the Zahur of Imam Zaman alayhi salam, people have already seen him at least once in their life. But the only problem is they don't have the Marifath.
They don't recognize because they don't know who he is. This is the problem. It's like, I remember, it's like meeting a person that's famous, right? And you having a conversation with that person, and everybody around you looking at you crazy because you're just talking to this person like a regular person. And then that person walk off, you walk over. They say, man, do you know who that person was? He said, no, he's just a regular old person. Say, no, this person, he's this, he's that, he's this. Right? That's what happened. It happened to us. It happened to me. I'm on a plane with I'm on a plane. I'm talking to somebody really famous. I didn't know who this person was. To me, it's a regular person. But everybody else say like, this guy's famous. I'm like, okay, he's a regular person. But when we know who that person is, if we know who our Imam is, if we know the characteristics of our Imam, we be able to recognize our Imam through his actions, through his words, through how they describe them or how he's described in the books. Right?
One thing I would like to say over here is that, the Imam of our time, most of us fail to create a connection with him.
Yeah.
And that's something, that's just a truth, because we pray at times, for the coming of Imam Zamana, but we are so busy in our own lives that we do not really care.
Yeah.
And we not really, think about Imam Zamana. Many of us forget to even think about, think or, do the zikr of Imam Zamana once at least in the whole day out.
Yeah.
And we just fail to create a connection. So how do we create the connection with the Imam of the time?
Yeah. You find that in the books about the Imam that they said that we must keep our religiosity. Because what happened is that you'll find as further away we are from the Imam, the less we are, how can I say, connected to the Imam. This loss of connection happens when we lose our faith, lose ourselves. See, the thing is this, right? When you wait for something, you constantly wait for it to arrive. What it is that we don't await his arrival. We don't await his arrival. If we await the arrival of the Imam, then we will constantly have him on our mind. See, this is the thing, right? One of the ways we can do that is that we have to be obedient to the Imam. That we must be obedient to the Imam, because Allah has placed them down as our proof, as a proof on this earth, and because of that, it become, how can I say, obligatory upon us to be obedient to the Imam. So through obedience of the Imam, that means that it's not just, oh, yes, Imam, but it's also the constant reminder of ourselves about the Imam. So we have to constantly remind ourselves about the Imam, whether it's through dua or it's preparing ourselves for the Imam. See, a lot of times we lose hope because, like I said, the distance between us and the Imam. We say, oh, we don't know. During the time of Zuhur, we might not be able to reach the Imam. But if we constantly thinking about the Imam, constantly praying for the Imam, we're told in Riwayah that even if we are not alive when the Imam reappears, that we will get the benefit of those who are with the Imam. We will get the thawab of those who are with the Imam because we were constantly praying for the Imam. We constantly made obedience to the Imam. We constantly prepared for the Imam. We constantly went out and tried to know who our Imam is. We constantly was out there doing things to let people know about the Imam. So we have to always be in movement to be able to, how can I say, not lose that connection with our Imam. How we lose connection? When we distance ourselves from something. We cannot distance ourselves from our Imam. We can't do it. But what it is that we do, unfortunately. We have to constantly await for the Imam. Await for the Imam. We are told, I think it's a hadith from Imam Sheikh Saed Ali Kulayni. He said, waiting for the Imam is an obligation on us, that we must wait for the Imam. It's an obligation upon us. So that means when we wait for something, we patiently wait. We patiently remind ourselves that this person is going to come. We patiently wait that this person is going to help. We patiently wait and say, this is what was pre-dawned to come. We patiently wait. We don't lose hope, because as believers, we are told never to lose hope. They said that if they open the heart of a believer, they will have hope and fear in their heart, right? And neither one of these will outweigh the other. We cannot become hopeless all the way. We cannot have fear all the way, but that mizan, that balance between the both. We're hopeful that the Imam is coming during our time, but we also fear that he might not come during our time. But that doesn't mean that we stop learning who our Imam is. That don't mean that we stop preparing for our Imam. We don't do that. We continuously move forward as though the Imam is going to arrive at our doorstep. It's almost like when we have a guest. When someone comes to your house, you prepare for that guest. You clean your house, right? You make sure it's nice and clean. You get snacks, drinks, everything for that person. So when they arrive, now you tell the person come at 8 o'clock, the person might not come at 8 o'clock. Maybe they come at 8:30. Maybe they come at 9 o'clock, but you're still waiting for that person to come. We should think about that when it comes down to the Imam, that we prepare ourselves and we have all the things in which that will help the Imam, and we constantly wait for the Imam to come, regardless if he come at the time we think he should come or the time in which Allah has ordained him to come or the time in which he's supposed to come. We will be prepared for him to be there.
Sheikh, the hadith you narrated about the love for Imam Zamana, that even if you aren't there when the Zahur happens, you'll still have the benefit of the ones who are with Imam Zamana during the Zahur. There's a similar hadith like this with Imam Ali al-Islam as well. In one of the battles, a person comes to Imam Ali, they won the battle. And he says that, everyone was happy. And he said that if my brother was here, he would have been really happy. And, it would have been a very nice moment for him as well. He would have been considered, one of the people in the army as well. And, he would have gotten a big status. And then Imam Ali replies that, did he have love for me?
Yeah.
And he says, yes, he had a lot of love for you. So think that he was with us in the battle. He was one of the companions.
The mercy of Allah is unexplainable. The mercy of Allah is unexplainable. It's impossible for us as human beings to grasp this type of mercy in which Allah rains upon us when we follow what he tells us to follow, when we follow the ones he tells us to follow. When we follow what he tells us to follow and the ones he tells us to follow. It's unexplainable, the mercy, especially if we have the love for these people, for these personalities. Not just the regular surface love, but that intense love in which Allah wants us to have for these individuals, because these are the ones that we are told to turn towards for guidance. We're told to turn towards them for guidance. That's a beautiful hadith, but this is true. It's so true. He gives us the benefit of the wab as though we were there with those people. Alhamdulillah. Because maybe the Imam may not come in our lifetime. Maybe he may come in the lifetime of our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren. Allahu A'lam, Allah knows best. But we have to prepare.
Sheikh, this question, as we're talking about this topic and we're talking about Imam Zamana alayhi salam, this is a question like, a personal question, I would say. For example, okay, you in your life, you're meeting Imam Zamana, and you know that it's him.
Yeah.
Okay. So what would be your first interaction with him? What will you say to him?
After I freak out and wake up after fainting, I don't know. I have no idea. Excuse me. I have no idea. Because, like I said, I'm a nervous wreck. If I was to see the Imam, most likely I would probably faint. Oh, my mama would probably be over there. I don't know. Who knows? I would probably faint. Because imagine for all your life you read about someone or something and you finally get to see that thing that you read about, that you was able to recognize for all these years of studying it. I can't explain like the overwhelming feeling in which I will probably have. I don't know how other people will react, but I know me. I will be speechless. I will be, because, how can I say it? It's like, what can I say to my Imam that he doesn't already know about me? It's like, what can I say? We find many incidents that the Imam knows what the person has in the letter before they even give him the letter. What can I say to him? Like, what can I say? Like, what can I do? Like, Like he know if the money in my pocket is haram or not. It's like, what can I say? What can I do? It's like what can I say? It's like, you know, like like speechless. I I want to know. I really want to know, but I know I will be so overwhelmed with emotions that I
You know,
couldn't say anything.
Sheikh, during I had this question. I was thinking about during Karbala when Imam Hussein alayhi salam and everyone was leaving for Karbala, and Imam Hussein, there were many people who claimed themselves as Shia, as lovers of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, as lovers of Ali alayhi salam, but many of them could not help Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Some of them said that we are not physically strong enough. Maybe
Yeah,
we can help you with this source and etc. etc. But the Imam did not need that help.
yeah,
The only thing Imam needed was support.
yeah,
Come with him. So and many people backed out, like before itself. And when we hear about what happened with Hazrat Muslim
yeah,
in Kufa, he
yeah,
was left alone.
yeah.
Everyone backed out. Everyone just left. So when we talk about Imam al-Zamana alayhi salam coming, and all of us pray that may Allah grant him, may Allah keep us in His army, may Allah make us a part of His army. Would we be courageous enough to face the enemy? Or are there any hadiths which say that even some people during the time of Imam Zamana, would back out or something like that?
Of course, of course. There'll be people that will reject the Imam. Look, I find people to this day that don't believe in the Imam.
Oh,
Yeah, I done found people in the day that don't believe in the Imam said, how can someone live that long when Allah Azza give proof in the Quran about people living for a long time?
all the prophets, Prophet Uzair. It's common
Allah,
sense.
yeah, Allah Azza gives so many how to say examples of something living for a long life, people living for a long time, people of the cave, all this stuff. How can something live for so long? How can someone live for so long? I can't believe that. There's gonna be people that's gonna say they were Shia that's gonna fight against the Imam. There's people that said they were Shia that's gonna go against the Imam. Remember those people that invited Imam Hussein alayhi salam, they were Shia. They were Shia. They were Shia. So my thing is like, this is not something that's far-fetched. This isn't something that's not unimaginable. This is something that is a reality that some people going to reject the Imam even though they know who he is. They're going to reject him. Unfortunately.
Sheikh,
Yes.
we hear that Imam Zamana, when he would come, we hear a hadith which is, known by everyone. We say that even the scholars would have some concept.
Yeah.
So I never understand that. Whenever I hear about that, I'm like, how? Because the scholars are the ones studying all their lives in the lives of the Imams, the life of the Ahlul Bayt, and then suddenly they're having conflicts when the Imam is coming, and they're going against the Imam. So I could not understand the reasoning behind this hadith. So if you could tell us something about this.
The thing is that the Imam is going to come and he's going to come with the real understanding of our beliefs.
Okay.
See, the thing is that when the scholars, they deduce the proofs of the religion, this is a apparent proof. But the Imam knows the true belief, the true rulings. He knows the true things. So, of course, when he comes with this truth, now it might not be a lot of stuff, might be some stuff. But to them, this is going to be something that is foreign, something in which they might not agree with, something that they're going to reject. Because to them, it's not going to be something that they're used to. Because when you come with the true facts, it's kind of hard for people that believed in a certain way to accept the truth. And the Imam is going to come with the truth. He's going to come with the truth. So, of course, this is going to happen. Unfortunately, we just pray to Allah that we not those who reject the Imam. That our heart stays pure for the Imam, that no corruption enters into our heart about the Imam, that we be those sincere followers, whether we are with the Imam or we are in the grave of the Imam. Followers of the Imam, while we in the grave or if we with the Imam.
I hope you're all the followers.